Welcome to In the News with Double O Des. I'm Des Bernardo, giving you my perspective on news from South Africa and the rest of the world. In the news now, I have an article that I want to cover with you that I mentioned in my early morning video, and soon I'll be going into my conference, so I don't want to let this carry on for too long, but this is very important. I mentioned to you that in this news article in News 24, it says, unfit to govern, Popo, Molefe and Raymond Zondo's scathing indictment of the ANC, who is of course the ruling party. And it says South Africa isn't winning the battle against corruption. Prosecution's boss Shamili Batoy told Parliament on Tuesday, and on the same day Popo, Molefe and Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo explained why. The reason is the African National Congress. This is according to Peter de Tooy, who wrote the article. But it is quite interesting how they actually shape and say things. And as usual, I'll put a link to this article in the description below the video, and you can actually go and read it, and I encourage you to read it yourself. On Tuesday, the day after the resumption of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, National Director of Public Prosecutions Shamila Batoy told Parliament that South Africa is not winning the fight against corruption. Now, this doesn't help when the National Director of Public Prosecutions has this viewpoint. She couched it by adding, the country isn't winning yet, but explained the National Prosecuting Authority, or NPA as I'll refer to it from now on, and the Police Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations do not have enough prosecutors and investigators to roll back grand corruption and state capture. I can tell you that they don't have the capacity at all to do anything about these people right now. I quote, "We are citizens of this country like you. We want to see these cases come to court and we want to see people being held accountable. We are outraged by what has been going on." Close quote, she said. Now, this is just throwing, it's like throwing water on paraffin, you know, when it's on fire. So her saying this doesn't help. How long has she been in that position now? And what has actually happened? Could she have spoken out earlier? Should she have done so? Like in my call that I put out yesterday. Anyone like this shouldn't have to wait until they're in Parliament and they must report for them to actually speak out and say something. So I'm not convinced. And it means nothing to me if you know that there's something bad happening and you don't speak out immediately. You're an accomplice in my books. At around the same time that Batoy was busy having a frank discussion, the former chairperson of the board at the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, Popo Molefe, was detailing the complicity of the governing ANC and its office bearers in ripping off billions of rand of taxpayers' money from the parastatal. He said billions of rands. And when he was finished as chairperson of the inquiry, Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo delivered one of the most scathing indictments of the ANC in recent memory. And this is the key to what I want to discuss with you. He decried the lack of resolve and honesty from the party and its leadership. Now, like I say, the ANC is just another party in government that's captured by New World Order agencies. And therefore, you cannot see them as an entity that you can blame. They are all to blame. The whole lot of them are to blame for what is happening. Maybe it's time, he said, that a leader without the ambition of re-election stands up and puts the country and its people first. I would love for a leader like that to stand up. The people could rally behind that person, and then that person could actually be elected. We can build a case for direct election. And like I said, continue with the hashtag direct election in your posts. Molefe's testimony over 2 days has again revealed a governing party where corruption and cover-ups are endemic and institutionalized. Now, this is no different to the apartheid government. Nothing has changed, people. We just transferred from one to the next. It was just all a ploy. The stealing and looting is still carrying on. It happened back then. It's happening now. There's no difference. But the key is, where is this money going? It's not individuals that are getting rich, like billionaire rich. Most of this money is being funneled out of South Africa. And this is the key, a very important key. Molefe's testimony over 2 days has again revealed a governing party where corruption and cover-ups are endemic and institutionalized. The ANC has shown a singular and steadfast refusal to act against state capture and corruption within. The party in government for 26 years will forever remain intoxicated and beholden to the pursuit of power and the retention of power above anything else. And I remember that Helen Zille, who was the leader of the DA at the time, said that politics is all about power. That is about retaining power, getting power. The DA needs to get power. If we have power, then we can do something. But power, 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 that's all they speak about. Now, that doesn't once say the citizens. We care about the citizens and what the citizens want. No, it's all about power. Billions of rands were looted from Prasa with billions more targeted. Molefe, who chaired the board, tried to stem the bleeding, but according to his testimony, he was thwarted at every turn. Not only was he instructed by ministers to suspend investigations into the allegations of widespread and large-scale malfeasance, every effort to enlist support from his party's leadership also failed. Leadership. Remember who's at the helm of the African National Congress right now. Look who the most powerful people are. Out of desperation, because every other avenue prescribed by corporate codes of good governance proved to be dead ends, he briefed his political party leadership. But the leadership of then-President Jacob Zuma, his deputy Cyril Ramaphosa, Gweri Mantashe, Jesse Duarte, Baleka Mbete, and Zweli Mkhize didn't help him. Now, how many of those people are still there today? Cyril Ramaphosa is still there today. Okay? Zweli Mkhize is our health minister, and people are lauding these two people as being in charge of this pandemic, that they're doing a sterling job. Remember the review that I did, that News 24 did in a poll on how people felt about them? These are the same people they said they couldn't get through to. They were there. Neither did Mbete, who moonlighted as Speaker of Parliament when Molefe wrote to her asking for the legislature to investigate events at Prasa. But Parliament under her, of course, had already shown its colours some years before when it abdicated its constitutional duty to provide oversight of Zuma's Nkandla prestige building project. It had to be forced by the Constitutional Court to do its duty. She may well be the worst speaker since 1994. Now, these are strong words to use, but you need to see them in context, and that's very important. Molefe is part of the ANC's old guard, political analyst Hugh Venter, who knows Northwest province politics inside out, says Molefe was probably the best of the premiers the province has had. He launched the province alongside present Premier Job Mokgoro, then his Director General in 1994, and he left in a pretty good nick when he departed after serving 2 terms. So here, News 24 is trying to sow division within the African National Congress, and by painting them in a bad light, they are now trying to sway people towards the opposition, which are also New World Order stooges. So it makes absolutely no difference. It just fools the people for longer. He fell out with former President Thabo Mbeki and sided with a coalition of the wounded in 2007, but quickly abandoned the Zuma project. His political roots lie in black consciousness, and he is known to be close to Ramaphosa and Ramatlhodi, one of a raft of former ministers dismissed by Zuma when the state capture project was reaching its zenith. Look how this article is trying to detract and go back to a blame game on Jacob Zuma. And at the moment, Jacob Zuma is not at the helm. Cyril Ramaphosa is at the helm. Very interesting tactics by News 24. On Tuesday, Molefe, who has been an ANC member throughout his adult life, said that rolling back the tide of corruption will not be successful until the party understands that it is in government to give effect to the constitution and to serve the poor. That, he told Zondo, is not happening. Now, it's easy to say these things when you're in front of a commission of inquiry. Leaders need to act ethically and, importantly, with courage to ensure accountability and secure justice. Leaders, he said, need to act and act now. Don't sing songs about your commitment to fighting corruption. Demonstrate it through your actions. He said, addressing Zondo, but actually berating the party of Ramaphosa. And that is the key. Because Cyril Ramaphosa is the leader of the ANC. He is the leader of our country, the elected leader and president of the country. Zondo's closure was perhaps one of the most powerful monologues he has delivered in almost 2 years. He has listened to the thousands of hours of testimony, ranging from the first-hand accounts from Pravin Gordhan and Mcebisi Jonas, Barbara Hogan's explanations of the corruption of the ANC's deployment committee, to the elaborate statement of victimhood and conspiracies by Zuma. And on Tuesday he started putting the jigsaw together. It's a pity he doesn't do an inquiry into Cyril Ramaphosa himself. Party leaders don't break ranks because they need to secure support for whatever chairpersonship or appointment they want. And this is the key. And this is why we need direct elections. This is the case within any party. As long as parties have internal elections, we have problems, because they can be cooped by whoever. And the New World Order agencies have cooped the parties. It's that simple. If we have direct elections, this problem will become less of a problem. It won't be a party problem anymore. We can only blame ourselves if we elect a bad leader. So when they see criminality or wrongdoing, in order to preserve their political future, they turn a blind eye. And this is why I put out the call to action. I want people to speak out. Those that are good, that have seen bad, to speak out. You can do this in many ways. You can be a whistleblower. You can speak to your superiors that you know are not corrupt. Or you can speak to the media anonymously. There's many ways of leaking out information without compromising yourself. If you are a crook, resign. Resign. Leave. Because soon we are coming for you. The people of this country will come for you. You won't be able to hide anymore. And looking at past histories in other countries, things don't work out too well for those that have crooked the nation for such a long period of time. Things normally work out quite badly for those people. So just keep that in mind. The same with ministers who remain quiet when they see illegal activities, because if they say anything, they limit their career opportunities. Or they might get fired. They mind their own business. This is a disease in society at the moment, and that's why it's so important to cover this specific article. And this relates so much to my call to action. And if a president doesn't act against a minister, it is because he or she needs the support of that minister when they need to be elected again. Once again, the party system problem. They fear that if that minister is fired, he will mobilize against the president, Zondo explained. And so the carnival of impunity, rent-seeking and factionalism continues. And as long as we have the party system, it will continue. It won't stop. How can you keep on doing the same thing and expect different results? That's what I want to ask the people of the country. If you keep on living your life the way that you have, how can we expect different results? I have had to change my life to try and do something with your help that will bring different results to the country. And through the multiplication factor, we can reach millions of people. Starting with the 12,000 subscribers on this channel, we can reach millions. And I thank all of you that I've been speaking to of late. I've had many phone calls. We are arranging meetings with many of you now. The first meeting might be next weekend, Saturday. I will take meetings in the week even. I don't care if I just speak to a few people. The maximum is 12 at this stage. But I want to come and talk to you and give you direct info. Things that I cannot share with you on this public forum. Corruption won't be stunted, Zondo said, as long as this continues. What he's actually saying is that as long as a party system exists, corruption won't stop. And it won't. All that happened from the apartheid government to this government is just the people changed. Nothing else changed. Our fiscus is still being siphoned dry by other countries. It's not stopping. Maybe we need a president who will stand up in parliament and say, start with me. Who will say, if members of the governing party do not ask me hard questions to hold me accountable, they are not doing their job. More people will start calling for accountability. My call to action will not be isolated. Once you meet with me, I will explain to you my channels of influence and contact so that you can get a proper picture of my past, who I am, how I've influenced things, and what is possible, with one person at a time. Don't underestimate your ability to change this country. It might be drastic, but maybe we need someone who does not care about re-election, who understands that country and people come first, the Deputy Chief Justice said. Both men were searing in their analysis and hopeful in offering solutions. There is a movement happening, people, believe me, that will change the future of this country if you work with me. It's happening across South Africa. Many people are on our side. They have been talking to each other behind the scenes because the mainstream media will not serve our narrative. We do not do things in mainstream media. We will do it house for house, person for person. Till I meet you, and I look forward to meeting you. Until the next video. Thank you very much.